driving it home with the professor. Not interviewing anybody today, so we're going to be intermixing interviews with my, I guess, monologues. Anyway, we're driving it home. I want to talk about what Marcelo Garcia was filmed and quoted as saying today, that he prefers wrestling over judo for jiu-jitsu and submission grappling. Me personally, I started off in judo. I think judo is phenomenal. Never technically wrestled in high school or anything in the city of Philadelphia. Wrestling's not very popular, but probably wouldn't have anyway. I wasn't much of an athlete, but I digress. As much as I love judo and I think it's great for gi jiu-jitsu, I really believe that wrestling is superior to increase your overall grappling ability, because most of the takedowns in wrestling put you in a position where you're either pinning or you have the ability to pin and all that other stuff. Too many of the current judo takedowns, the way they're taught and the way they're kind of used in judo is, if you've watched any judo matches, is a lot of times when they get the ippon, the perfect throw, both competitors are looking up at the ceiling and the takedown isn't finished with control. In wrestling, the sport of wrestling, much like the sport of jiu-jitsu, is most of the time when a takedown occurs, it's not the end of the match. And that's why I think it's important to understand that wrestling combines better with jiu-jitsu, because judo has the ippon factor of the throw, whereas in wrestling and jiu-jitsu you don't have a perfect throw or a perfect takedown to be able to in one takedown finish or win the match. And if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comment section, or send me a rebuttal video. But thankfully I agree with one of the greatest grapplers that has ever lived, that wrestling melds and meshes itself better for the competitive and non-competitive grappler than judo does. And I think that has to do with a lot of the turning throws, a lot of the throws where if it's not a turning throw, they're so dynamic where the competitors or the practitioners are looking up in the sky in judo. Maybe that wasn't always the case, but I agree with Marcelo. If you're listening to the greatest grappler of all time, it's tough, or one of the greatest grapplers of all time, it's kind of tough to argue with him. And you'll see that that wrestling definitely has a higher level of cross application between MMA, no-gi submission wrestling, and gi Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whereas a lot of the techniques of judo are very difficult to pull off without the gi. So Marcelo Garcia is right. I guess he's happy to know that I agree with him. Wrestling is superior to judo in the sense that I think it's more applicable and it helps your jiu-jitsu game much more than judo would help your jiu-jitsu game. So driving it home with the professor, wrestling beats judo, even though I think judo is awesome and phenomenal. And if you're a judo guy, there's definitely throws that work and going to put you in great positions. But if you were to ask me, hey, I'm a novice, I've never done judo wrestling, but I'm doing jiu-jitsu, I only have enough time to study one art to be able to take people down to help my jiu-jitsu, I would definitely say, let's learn wrestling before we learn judo, so that we get the top and better positions, and that kind of thing. So driving home with the professor, wrestling over judo in this particular case.